Hi, this is Mia. This is 5:29 p.m. 12/15/2021. I was driving home. Actually, I had a class today, and we had to from one of my jobs, and I had to go. We went from basically I left. Well, I was supposed to leave at 5:50 this morning. I have no idea if I left at 5:50, but I got to my job at like 6:30 in the morning, and I just got back at 5:30. I feel like it took us 2 hours. I don't know. When we get back to the other place at, we'll see, 4:45. I felt we left at like 2:15. 2:15 to 3:15, 3:15 to 4:15. Gosh, it took us like over 2 hours. Yeah, because if I left at 6:30 and then we got there at 8:30, we did a pit stop. So, well, traffic on the way home is probably a lot worse. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's about 2 hours back to work and then another half hour home. So I've just been riding in different vehicles. I had to drive and ride and drive. I was driving, and thinking that I urgently needed to make a preparedness video. I don't know why. I've been like hyper as though the solstice has already passed. It feels like when I used to maybe, I don't remember this often, 3 or 4 years ago, as it was getting to December 21st, my energy level was dipping. And one time, I was still working at Pizza Hut. It went up, like right on the solstice, like the 20th and 21st. My energy just jumped, and it kept flying up, like too much. Like one of those paddle ball things. Like it was just like shot. It goes out like that, and then it shoots back at you, and it like misses the paddleboard, and then it goes farther than it had in the first place. And as the summer, from the winter solstice to the summer solstice, my energy level went up too fast with a little bit of extra daylight. I mean, from now till spring, the temperatures are gonna dip, and the days are still gonna be darker, and the weather is gonna be weird. But it's just the sun is so low. It's so beautiful on the water. I cannot even stand it. It's so beautiful, and it's making me, even the brackish water, the salty water, is making me want to drink water. It's so, I don't remember being that beautiful last year. Maybe it's a change in me. I felt like, guys, like I needed to make this video. That solstice thing, I will tell you, when I first got clean and sober in 2004, each year in the spring, you have like those burr, cold, chill to the bone days, and then it rises up and the birds start coming out. We start seeing ants and bugs, and then it dips down and it rises up. Like it just kind of like the first Mortal Kombat movie, taste of things to come. Like I always had that thought in my mind, because that movie, that line in my mind will feel like the natural urge, because I'm always too busy to be like, I want to be like a stay-at-home housewoman. I don't know, I'm not necessarily a wife and my kids are grown-ups. I want to be a housewoman where I'm taking care of the garden and the house and working and doing my healthcare business and doing a shop. I want to just like be able to get up and take a dust rag and dust, because I want to dust, not necessarily rush somewhere to work a low paying job, and to be able to garden, and like that African American woman, and I think she lives in Florida, where she grows her own food in the flower pots. Like, I want to be able to harvest that stuff and juice it and dehydrate it and eat fresh salads and have hydroponic indoor gardens, like all these things where you have to tend to it. You get a few packs of seeds, you germinate it, you get your seed. Like, that's what I want to do. I want people to call me and say, hey, it's time for you to work for us. Like, you're still needing to go out into the world in order to get money. Because even if you own the land and have the seeds and have your own water, have solar power, most likely, more than not, you will have some sort of tax on that land and potential transportation, communication, internet, like all those different things that I mean, you could just take a bike to the library and use their internet once a day and download stuff. That's also another thing, but we'll go there. Having been in Portland, there's a lot of things people do to keep from having bills. Because you can even use internet phone. That you wouldn't have. Well, I guess you can call 911. Different story. Something was telling me to make a preparedness video. And people say the first rule about preparedness or so-called prepping is don't tell anyone about your so-called prepping. I have the preps that people should have. When these people start talking about inventories and looking in the pantry and really not looking at the pantry. Look in the pantry, you can put stuff in, but rewind. What do you eat every day? How much water do you drink every day? How much, even like toothpaste, toothbrushes, deodorant, what kind of proteins are you eating and how often and how much is that? Like, what's the minimum you could do if you're rationing in order to not pass out and in order to not just get stuck with, a barrel full of just straight bleached sugar or 1 jar of molasses and, 2 containers of popcorn. Like, you could survive on that. I mean, the molasses, if you're like me, you have a corn allergy and you don't do sugary stuff, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't done that yet. Like, if you're taking multivitamins, you're taking daily vitamins, or you're taking supplements that are really, really helping your health, what will you be like? Have you forgotten to take those medicines for 2 or 3 days or on a weekend when you're not really like, I'm just kind of like lounging or busy? How did you feel when you forgot it for 2 or 3 days? How would you feel if you didn't have it for 3 months? Could you get by? Like, some of the supplements we have, straight like herbal extracts. I got some of the raw tea materials to use to make the teas. It's not going to be as strong. Actually, I've done that only like once, I think, when I ran out of supplement because it was helping my brain. Different things that you have taken that you might think is a placebo. This isn't the bulk of the video. This is just an example of me saying that the most thing that I have is probably female products, and my menses is all weird, and I can be menopause right now. So that's something. I guess it would turn into a bartering. We have washcloths, but like that's like the main thing. We have a couple of little solar like flashlight or a couple of wind up instruments, like literally like a couple. So this is just kind of the intro. Another video I saw or I read a comment. There's so many big hurricanes in Texas. They had some prepper guy was saying that one thing he was prepared, but one thing he wished he had more of was flashlights. And ever since I heard that statement, and imagine like a real like prepper like has a pantry, has a basement, has containers of water, has alternate heat, has alternate water filtration, solar energy, different kind of radios, maybe ham radios. Or people are talking about satellite phones now, and having even the toilet paper, even something like toilet paper, even paper towels. And now that this week, people are all talking about paper plates. We had a few paper plates, but we didn't have any stack. We just had it like, now I'm like thinking about that. And even if you have a hard time, like you get sick or somebody gets injured, having some of that stuff can keep your house tidy for a few days instead of having stacks of dishes. There might not be any emergency outside of your own person or your own household, but something like that could help you. And you can reuse your plate. If you made a sandwich and you didn't get like meat or whatever, and you want to eat a piece of cake later, and then you wanted to crack open some nuts, like you use that now as you eat food off it. You could use it. You know what sounds good? Broccoli cheese or rice, by the way. Yeah. If there's going to be a food relapse, I said something aside. Actually, I skipped what I said because I don't do well with rice. But you could use it to crack shells of nuts. Use it as a trash. Like on a normal day, you can reuse something several times and don't get sick. I'm just saying that as an example because everyone is, a lot of us are environmental, I don't know how much of the video thing. There it is. So, to rewind what I was going to say, I wish I had more stuff, but I don't have the money or this. You can always find space, I guess, but not having the funds and having this special diet. So, think about if you have a special diet. People say you're cocky, like if you, especially me as an African American, and a chubby one, if you have food, organic stuff, raw nuts, raw fruit, people say that's not for people like you. You need to be eating corn dogs and freaking, I don't know, high fat, 70% beef, ground beef, and potatoes, and rice, and beans. Like, everyone would always tell me, we can't afford to eat nice. And they'll be like, I'm a doctor who owns $1 million house, but we eat lentils for dinner. We eat beans and tofu. Like, you need to be eating beans. You need to be eating soup, not eating salad, and not eating vegetables. Like, I would like to eat certain foods, but my body doesn't do well, and then I get really sick. Like, it contributes to me being more vulnerable to the so-called germs outside of my body. Because of inflammation, it reduces my immune system. I get flare-ups, mucus and stuff. You get all that stuff all around your body, and then someone sneezes near you. I feel like it sticks, like on The Incredibles, where he spits like, and he ends up sticking it, Mr. Incredible, to the wall syndrome, is it? So, to rewind where I wanted to go, the basics you can find, I haven't looked at it in a while, the FEMA emergency kit, the first aid, the Red Cross emergency, and what's the other one? I feel like someone's trying to open the door. We had Red Cross come to our housing complex and talk about this, the basics with water, have a whistle. We're talking about whistles at my class. That's true too. If you have an earthquake and people don't know, or this building could collapse. Is there anybody home? Is there a survivor? Even having a whistle, could you carry a whistle around your neck? If you can't move, but you have it around your neck, and the least you could do is, like, you start hearing movement. And that sound is a purposeful sound. It's not just like tap, like you can bang on pipes, think about things outside the box. What you got to do with what if you go out and check the mail and the world like collapses and you're like right down the street, right down the sidewalk, driveway from your home where your stuff is, where you feel like safe, car rides and all that. So there's some basic ones I haven't looked at in a while. How much food or how much water for how many days for how many people, how much food for how many days, and non-perishable this and that. Talking about changing clothes, socks, cotton wool sock and wool socks so that they can dry. People don't like cotton stuff. Wool and stuff that can dry without making you feel cold. I personally, this lady was like, my son's a Boy Scout. He's not allowed to have cotton. He has to have like polyester or whatever, or wool stuff. But in my mind, it keeps you warm. I don't know. I think maybe you could have all the above. So if you're like warm and dry and you want to stay warm and dry, you put certain things on. And if you're walking through mud or through flooding water, maybe you put something else on and have everything else in a trash bag on top of your head or in a backpack. The everyday carry is something I just downloaded. Was it from City Prepping? Because there's some that I don't, political issues, so they advertise too much of their political values, and it makes me kind of nervous. But I don't think it's necessary. But people, this country's getting divided. Take it with a grain of salt, because something like that could save your life. Like I would say, the church would hate people that were doing Chinese medicine or yoga and all the stuff I was doing, so they hated me. But you don't know which grocery store you're supporting. You don't know, like, it doesn't matter if you're a religion. If say you don't like, say you don't like sugar, like, and not only is the store selling sugar, but they have sugar fields. The owners own, millions of acres of whatever, sugarcane. I'm just throwing it out there. Like, that's an example. Like, you're supporting the very thing that you're preaching on Sunday not to do. But you're telling us not to do these things. These things in front are distracting you. You don't like these people that practice Buddhism and meditate. You don't like these people, like, but yeah, you're supporting and giving all your money to these folks, or these people are full of hatred and owned by Klansmen, and you're supporting them, but you're also hating non-whites, and it's like, oh, you guys, I guess you're buddies, but don't preach about telling people that they're not being enough like Jesus, when Jesus would not support that type of hatred because of someone's skin color. Sometimes it's cultural, sometimes it's just skin color, and you'll see more and more people coming out of the woodwork that are not so stereotypical, and it's always been like that, but it's also a front. You could have somebody walking around like, acting all like a hood, and Monday morning they're downtown in a suit and tie working at an insurance office or something. Like, sometimes, like, I've seen my own relatives do that kind of front, and they go back around other people of the same color, and they come back in their own house and they change their accent. So, and think about that if you're being prepared. Hopefully the karma isn't, you can think about karma too, but what if you had to go out into another village, say there's a lot of people from the Middle East or certain other countries, and your house is gone, or you had an emergency, maybe you just locked your keys out and it's riots. Like, wouldn't that be the worst? You go out and let the dog out, the wind slams the door shut, it happens to be locked. Because I did that all the time in the other place. You turn the handle and it pushes the button in, and you happen to forget your keys that time. All the windows happen to be locked because you're trying to keep safe. There could be riot, there could be martial law, there could be chaos, there could be people picking on targets. I swore someone was snipering people in North Portland when we lived there, out of windows, bicycle riders. They were shooting at bicycle riders. I heard this on the news multiple times in the course of a couple months, and it scared the heck out of me because people were being targeted, and the perpetrator thing was getting away with that. For hopefully they didn't. That's scary. So you could think, when stuff like that happens, we get so desensitized to anything. People still get up, still have to feed their babies, still have to feed their kids breakfast. Look in the pantry, a lot of people in middle class, they got pantries full of peanut butter and jelly and crackers and all kind of stuff that someone didn't like. These brand granola bars, they got 50 of them from Costco. A lot of people won't starve. A lot of people will be hungry and will be counting their pennies to get food, waiting for the end of the month or the first of the month. But if you had to go and say, oh my gosh, my neighborhood's dangerous, what happened? I locked myself out. There's a neighborhood next door. People, like, were you friendly to those people? Were you racist or culturally insensitive? What if you had to go down there? Or what if you had to flee? Like, what if you had to flee your country? Something like so extreme. Like, what if you had to flee your country, or be like United States of Americans became refugees, and instead of Syrians and other people coming here and Afghan? What if it was the other way around? We had to go somewhere else. What if we had to go to Iran or something? Would you have the so-called tactical scarf they used to call, like, you could cover yourself out? You would walk down the street. If I had to go to, like, a European neighborhood or something where they didn't like my skin color, could I wear something to cover up? And with some big sunglasses, some gloves, so they don't know that I'm black. You have to think outside the box. You hope you never have to do that. You can keep fabric and say, oh, the house is a mess, you don't want bugs, you don't want wool and silk or stuff to get eaten by moths, and have hiding places for cockroaches or mice or something. Like, attract something because you have a habitat for them, or maybe some crumbs got in, you can't vacuum as fast. But just, like, in moderation. Just think about it. You could get away with, 3 pieces of fabric on your counter for 2 people, and it could be used as a sweater, or, like, when it's cold, it could be used to block the sun. If that's all you had and you're in a car, or you had to be outside at night, if that's all you had to keep the elements off you, or to keep yourself up off the ground, then Unfortunately, that's all you have. I mean, maybe you find some newspapers and plastic bags. I'm going to get off here in a minute. So the basics would be the food, the water, nutrition. There's bars and stuff you can get. There's honey packets and honey sticks. What are you going to do if you have some cash money, change, dollar bills, maybe some silver, maybe a little bit of gold pieces? I heard people are breaking off pieces of necklaces, and somewhere in South Africa or South America, was it Brazil or Argentina, snapping off, not using the money anymore, not being able to use the electricity, not being able to use gas because the gas stations, if the electricity's out, they didn't have a generator, not being able to get gas for your vehicle. How far can you get? Do you want to even go anywhere? If the stuff hits the fan, you have to leave your house and your car. Can you get to someone's house? Can you get to a park where you can hide your truck in the bushes somewhere, or you think no one's going to go because there's too many mosquitoes? Or do you have some kind of oil or something you can put on to keep the mosquitoes off, but it's not going to necessarily attract people? Say, it smells like bug spray. There must be people around, but it has something natural. Like they might think, oh, it's a flowering bush, or the smell of the grasses or something. It's a shelter. People get tarps. Someone was prepping. They said they wish they had about tent posts. So they had to improv. Is that the right word? You can get sticks and stuff, or you can get string, the tarp, and then the tent post to keep it all together, so you don't have just a floppy thing. Do you have anything camo? Do you have anything orange? It's hunting season. Do you have anything orange? I think containers. I'm looking at this jar. I think containers are good if you need to get water. I'm going to get off here and tell you about this book. I am so tired, guys. I'm thinking that something told me to make this video, and I had to take my own advice. I wanted to buy Christmas decorations, but instead I let my food order come in to buy the cost, which I didn't want to do. I don't even know if it went through. I don't have usually I don't get an email for a couple days. I said I was going to do noodles. I only have one thing of noodles left. So I'm going to be improvising. So, someone said they stopped eating their favorite foods or their meat or whatever. They say, well, the stuff that I won't be able to get, I need to, change your taste, change what your body needs. Sometimes the foods I eat is so tasty and it's kind of expensive, and the certain condiments have these nutrients in it, and I was trying to cut this stuff out because I lost my job before, and I was trying to cut this stuff out to save money, and my body reacted. The honey, the Bragg liquid amino, and I didn't even cut out the nutritional yeast. My body reacted poorly. My body reacted when I got rid of cheeses. Well, cheeses, my body reacted when I got off the chocolate. Not as bad. The cheese was the worst. People's body react when they get off coffee or tobacco or nicotine. So think about those kind of things. Again, if you're away from home, if you walked out to get the mail and an earthquake happened and a sinkhole swallowed up your house, and you took your dog out and the door locked, and now you're wandering around the street. I mean, would you break up a window? Did you have a hide key? You might not. It might not be worth it, because you could think of like some kind of zombie movie where people are just banging on the door and you got yourself barricaded. You don't want any. I did that with my car. I hid a key in the ashtray in case something happened. If I had to get AAA to come unlock the door, I just have a key. And they found the key and just drove away. I locked the doors. People talked a lot about glasses. That's one thing. I didn't get extra pairs of reading glasses, and I don't have. I need to actually get regular glasses, but have a couple pairs. And the kit, I did buy the kit. It was hard. It took me a long time. There's a cleaning cloth over there. I found this at Target, I think. I bought 2 of them. I didn't really want the cleaner. I guess that works, but, this is my boyfriend's. So it does have the cloth in it, which you can't really see. But it has, the tool. I didn't realize that's a tool on a keychain. And then in the very bottom, which is super awkward, guys, is spare screws in a capsule. I see at least 3 or 4. Mine is somewhere else because I would already used my rag. My boyfriend kept misplacing these, and I was looking forever at Target. I think I got this. I just got 2 of them, but even that you don't want to scratch up your glasses. And then on a regular day, Q-tips, like salt. That's another big thing. So I'm going to leave you with the name of my book that I'm reading from Ryan Chamberlain, one of my teachers from medical school. I wanted to give him my money. He was, let's see, what page am I on? Page 13. Let me go back to the cover. So, it's called Survival Medicine. I don't know if it's backwards to me. Survival Medicine, the Prepper Pages by Dr. Ryan Chamberlain, 2nd edition. And then, back to that page. Okay. And I'm on page 13 of 343. I had a sample, and then I went ahead and downloaded it for $3 or $3.99 on Amazon. I wanted to support the teacher. I didn't necessarily want to support them. I didn't buy the paper copy. I considered it, but I have a book by Cody London somewhere. I haven't even seen it. I have all these books that I need to deal with. So if you have recipes, when your memory is down and there's stress and you don't have money and you want to remember how to make a certain kind of soup to help your stomach ache, you might remember it for 10 years. And then in an event of disaster, you might forget it. So you can write all that stuff in cards or have a notebook over here that's got some recipes, some different teas, some herbs, some different outdoor plants that are edible, places that I was going to look up where to find fresh water around here because everything is salty around here. Maps. Got no more Google GPS. Do you have you want a new map, but a map, an atlas if you have to go state to state. And then a safe way to store fuel or get fuel. There used to be an old gas station in Southwest Portland. I swear it was still open. It had the fuel gauge that like still tick around, like the plastic or whatever, like turns 9, 0, 1, 2, 3. You know, it wasn't like a digital number. And what I also learned in our class today is a reminder for danger. Someone's gonna come at you. How do you like stop that? Part of it is keeping in shape now. When I got in a car accident and after being out of shape for medical school, they had like the chair yoga classes on PBS where I'm doing this.